Yes, indeed, I am still British. My accent hasn't changed in the last 10 minutes, man. Yeah, just turn the music off, screw it. So did you guys see the... I think it was... Let me have a just double check here. You will see the stream kind of pause because I've all tabbed. But did you guys see the news earlier today that Oscar has been benched from Mouse Sports and Nex is going to come in to stand in due to personal reasons? Interesting. Very, very interesting. If you have some delay, restart the stream, boys. We'll fix it for you. Rip. The 24-0. Snappy. Gone, but never forgotten. This kill streak will live on. What's my name? Mattis. Or Vince. You choose. Yep, this is the B stream. Of course, we've got FlipSid Heroic, and then after this, we've got Virtus Pro and Mouse Sports. So, should be a pretty solid night at Counter-Strike if this ever gets started, of course. I mean, I'm not sure I'd say I'm a new caster. I've been around quite a long time. But yeah, I was a bunch of the new guys that got invited to Run Fire recently. Guys in chat, if you could just now and again, if you see someone saying they got sound delay, if you just tell them to refresh the stream. So, Crixus, I think? I could be wrecking your name, apologies if so. If you have a delay on the stream, on the sounds, then restart Twitch. Just refresh it. Refresh the stream and you'll be golden. It's an issue of Twitch. Happens a lot for some reason here, but refresh your stream will fix the issues for you. Alright, ladies and gents, here we go. Looks like we're going to be ready for map number 2. Overpass. Heroic have the better stats on this map too, but I said that on train, and, well, it ended up being a complete collapse for Heroic. In the end, FlipSid taking it 16-7. Oylander up first for the first confrontation. Is going to back away, however. Spots them coming up through long. Meanwhile, Markov has been tagged down a little bit on the other side of the map. So he's going to be backing away, and FlipSid very quickly rotating almost their entire team up onto the A side. Well, that it has spotted 2 players on long, so that's going to give the information this is definitely going to be an A hit, pardon me. As well that it's looking for a second frag too. Lands it onto Heroic, and it's looking horrible now suddenly for the Danes. It's just about to get a whole lot worse as Electronic puts down Valda. And FlipSid take the first pistol. Heroic also, it should be mentioned that on Train they won both pistols and only picked up 7 rounds collectively, so it was a real rough day at the office over on Train. So, first couple of frags have gone the way for... Sorry guys, I'm kind of pretty occupied trying to make sure these technical problems are all sorted out for you. But 3 players have gone down pretty low already, although Heroic have got the first couple of frags their way. Modi, Free, Snappy, all within a moment of death potentially. And how B is going to get aggressed onto. It's going to be Electronic there with the M4. He's going to be holding this down by himself. He's also got about half his health left alive, but Markolov is going to come with UMP, and what started off so well for Heroic is starting to end in bloodshed. This blade will put the final nail in the coffin, and FlipSid do keep 3 players going into round number 3. Heroic won't have much to play with and didn't manage to get the bomb down. And so this will be a full-on eco. And, well, I said full-on eco, I was expecting maybe a P250 or something. It's actually going to be full Glocks, so Heroic completely tapping out of this. Don't expect anything to really come their way. And here comes Waylander with that FAMAS. Look at that spray. Really line up for him. Pulls out the Glock and does a lot of damage to Modi. There's the headshot in the end. As Snappy goes down. And now Modi with his Glock and 18 health is trying desperately to salvage at least a frag out of this round, but it's quickly going away. And FlipSid will take a rapid 3-0 lead. Heroic just don't seem to have shown up today. I mean, honestly, on that first map, it was really only Glaive that was showing any kinds of life signs. I think he was up to 21, 22 frags towards the end, but everyone else in this team was really struggling. I believe it was like Modi who was on 8 kills alongside Snappy or something like that, so that's going to have to shift around real quick here. Now, Heroic do have AKs, so they're going to solid buy into this round. This is the first real test for FlipSid in their rifle rounds. They do have their own weapon play in the hands of World Edit. Freeze already ate a lot of damage, significant damage down to 42. Can the CT machine keep churning out rounds? Heroic are desperate to throw a spanner in the works, but so far FlipSid have been looking very good today. Makes you question why they're currently rock bottom of the ESL Pro League. They're currently bottom with, I think it's 3 wins and 14 losses. So it goes to show how poor they've been this season, but Heroic are just above them. So right now it's FlipSid in 14th, Heroic in 13th. What's up, Execute? Sorry, dude. So a decent little stack here. Waylander and World Edit are really occupying the bathrooms. 40 seconds left for Heroic to try and execute on with. They've got a lot of smokes to play with here. 4 in total. About to get thrown off onto the site. Freeze. Going to be tossing one out. Here comes Snappy meanwhile through the smoke, through the shadows, onto Waylander. This World Edit that could be the difference maker here, but Glaive has spotted the barrel of the gun, sticking round the corner, and will put him down with ease. FlipSid now will be reeling for the first time on their CT side of Overpass. Grenade does a fair chunk of damage, but it's not enough for FlipSid to feel like there's any hopes of reclaiming this site, and in doing so, they're going to go and save. However, they do have Glaive to contend with, and he should get this first frag on the cross. Electronic actually hops across, only losing 60 health in the process in this round. And meanwhile, Snappy snaking his way up. You can see Markolov clearly. You can see his head and his shoulders peering around the corner. Electronic is going to try and keep the other M4 alive. It looks as though could be the only one through into the next round. No, Markolov does get the spray, so FlipSid will retain 2 M4s and actually pick up an AWP at the end. So a decent little turn of events, all things considered. Heroic will have another bite. Grenade not going to be landing anytime soon. Waylander throwing it for that fast playground push, but Heroic a little bit more passive this time around, looking for the peaks. Well, that it actually has its AWP out on long, so there's no great danger for Heroic for the time being. Of course, there's no way of them knowing this. They're going to check every single corner, playing this one oh so careful. Every single inch of real estate they pick up is at cost of a lot of focus and attention, but more importantly, time. They still have plenty of that to play with. Hasn't made for the most explosive game of Counter-Strike on both maps so far, but looks like Heroic are about to get a move on through long. Not going to have to contend with Will Let It's Up for the time being. .40 seconds coming up on the time. Well, that it's joined by Waylander. Both on long, going for the boost up on the bank APC. Or security truck, I guess. This will give them decent amounts of vision, not just for long, but also down on short side as well. But he has to be very careful. Land the shot onto Valda. He gets completely wrecked, but now the terrorists are going to try and retaliate with pure, ruthless violence. Through onto the site, they will move. Flashes going up and over, trying to land in the face of the T's, but the bomb's being planted. Well, nonetheless, here comes the spray through bank. Of course, as that smoke comes down, it stands to good reasons to be players pouring out to them so far. That bit the dust, courtesy of Moddy's very nice AK spray. And meanwhile, Heroic just putting down frags left, right, and centre. And there go FlipSid, trying to retake pretty much the whole of them after the first couple of frags go out long and short through the back sides. Easy kills, easy round. And our FlipSid are into an eco. That's a nice looking fade, Electronic. Moddy going to go very aggressively out by himself. Was looking for a bit of the early aggression. I like this strategic play from FlipSid, deciding, okay, we've got pistols, let's try and play aggressive, let's try and hold the aggressive angles and force Heroic to expend a bunch of their utility, see if we can get some frags in good positions. Marklov, the only player with Kevlar, so if they can get their hands on an assault rifle, probably will go into his hands, of course, if he's not too weak. With health at the time, Waylander's 8 early damage, so has Moddy and Freeze, however. Here, the taps above him, Valda. If he rushes into this, it could be at his cost of his life, but beautiful spray. Both onto Markelov and Will Let It, transferring it across briskly. Hungry for a couple more, but Electronic will put him down with a 5-7 and try and get his hands on the AK. And he will be successful. Problem is now retaining the AK. He's only done half the job, 40 seconds left, a lot of time left to try and save this assault rifle, and the flashbang plus AK equals death. 3-3, Heroic have brought back the last 3 rounds, but here comes the next buy. Markelov has enough to drop the AWP across the Will Let It, and we'll have an M4 in return. What's Will Let It spawn like? Not too fantastic, so I doubt we'll see any early peaks from him in terms of mid. Dreamus, I can't alt-tab out, dude, to start banning people. I've already got my hands full with streaming and casting and stuff, bro. Do we not have any mods in chat? Dude, solo casting with a cold is the worst. Just the worst. Look at this aggression though from Waylander. I like it. Realizing that the set plays for Rock may be a little bit too solid, he's actually backed away. Now, I think at first he was thinking of pushing out a bit more aggressively. Here comes Electronic though with the spray. It's just not quite on point to kill more than one player, but Valda's down to 11, and meanwhile on short side. With the pop flash over the wall, His teammates are dropping like flies to his right-hand side, but Valda now decides to push in. It's going to be at the cost of his life, and that's on Snappy. He's not going to survive too much longer. 4-3, and FlipSid have broken the curse of the 3 rounds. So Heroic's turn now to feel the economic pinch. They will be able to buy, though, of course, being on the T side. A lot more of a cheap endeavour. And it looks like they will have only the 1 Tech 9. Other than that, it's a real solid, healthy buy. Go on and execute. Keep me company, bro. Interact. Go, go, go. I feel like most people in chat aren't speaking English, so it's kind of hard. I'm just a scrubby Englishman at the end of the day. I don't speak multiple languages. Rip me. I'm good, Hobo. How are you? Apart from having a cold, of course. So, Heroic now. We're flirting with the idea of maybe trying a split push. But as soon as the information was gathered that B had just lost the player, instantly the bomb is wrapping around from Connector. Throwing in the Molotov into the water just to make sure they don't have to worry about the angle for now. Another one will be finding its way towards Markelov. This forces him out into the open, but they actually don't have any eyes over there. That's very surprising. Typically, if you throw a molly, you'll keep at least one player looking towards Graffiti just to make sure no one pushes through. You're going to get him anyway. With Muddy in the kill. Sees the grenade go right past his head, so he knows another player's in upper. Doesn't want to push through the smoke. Right now, the mission is to stop this bomb from being defused, but as that becomes less and less likely, expect to see a terrorist start to funnel their way out and look for some of these frags. Their economy's in no great position, though, so they obviously won't want to lose too many weapons from this. So I'll be curious to see just how hungry they are to throw a couple of players out there and see what sticks. Glaive may be the sacrificial lamb as he's got the Tech 9 with the Kevlar, so he may very well be the player to go in first. However, it's going to be Snappy on the other side of the map that gets taken down, courtesy of Waylander. But the round will come to a conclusion. Heroic will take it for themselves. So suddenly looking a whole lot better for Heroic. FlipSid still had enough funds to dip into, but Electronic onto UMP. It's a bit rough. Execute, it's really hard to say because I don't know what the reasons for him being benched were. It said personal reasons, right? Which can obviously consist of a lot of different things, so I don't know. There's no doubting that mouse sports have not been quite as prevalent and quite as ridiculous as we thought they would be with Oscar. I mean, I was casting at Gfinity when Oscar was completely absent in the match that they had with, I believe it was Envious. So it was very surprising to me. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in his personal life. Possibly he has a lot of things he has to deal with right now. But of course, then Next comes back in, and it begs the question is, how's that going to work? Because obviously, Next was kind of pushed to the wayside before. Be very curious to see how they perform tonight, absolutely. VP hot off some really solid performances, of course, at New York. That being said, though, a lot of travelling, so they may be exhausted, honestly. They just got back from New York and they're going to be playing some online matches. Not sure how that factors into the game either. Anyway, Heroic looking to battle back into this map. 4-4 at the moment. That flash is absolutely perfectly timed. The problem is that Electronic only has the UMP. If he has an A4 there, you feel like he probably would have got a couple more frags from that endeavour. But Markelov on the cross, they know there's very low time left for Heroic. A great hold off for now. Waylander from behind, he's going to get the spray down, and that leaves Glaive in a 1-on-3 with only 12 seconds to play with. Knows where the first player is. He roughly knew where all 3 players were there, but that's only half the struggle when there's only sort of 10 seconds left on the timer. So that is going to be 5-4. With FlipSid taking a round that honestly I thought would be going the way of Heroic. Why is my Subway delivery not arriving? Frostpacked? I do not have an answer for you, bro. I'm sorry. Well, FlipSid have already won one map today. They actually beat Heroic 16-7 on Train. So that in itself was pretty rough. Didn't see that coming. And I mean, I doubt this is going to be a tactical pause. 5-4 seems like it's been a bit too close, back and forth for it to be a tactical pause, but who knows? Maybe. I often don't get informed of these things, so your guess is as good as mine. So after the pause, looks like Heroic are deciding to go for the buy anyway, and the resume has came in. So this force is going to consist of 3 Tech-9s with 2 AKs. This would suggest to me to be a B-hit sort of composition of weaponry, but let's see if that ends up being the case. For the time being, well, that is a no. Through Connector, the majority of Heroic will be going for now, and it looks like they're going to be playing fairly slowly with Blade lurking in Connector, but it's nice better of this actually backs away. Interesting that he would go for the initial Connector control and after a couple of seconds decide better of it. Maybe he was just sat there waiting to hear footsteps heading towards B. I'm not entirely sure what the reason for it was, but they have given up a linchpin, really, a balance point, if you will, of Overpass, which is Connector. We've already seen that Heroic are happy enough to just kind of flirt with the idea of going to A and then quickly rush through Connector towards the B side. And it seems like still caught in a couple of minds here. This first kill could mean everything. And it should be going the way of the CTs. Waylander gets the kill, but that should have been a lot more clean. He actually loses 88 health as a result of not being able to finish it off earlier. Meanwhile, look at how the CTs are actually stacking into this. They go for the boost, which is finable, and it lands the shot. He's looking for a second one now. There will be Valda who's going to be coming through. 35 seconds left on time, but meanwhile, behind Will Let It is where the rest of the firepower lands. You can see he's just caught in 2 minds. So I look to my left, to my right. Doesn't really matter. He's dead anyway. And on Mori point blank range, a fight to death with Markelov, who comes out swinging. First kill and second one to him. It's all on Valda for this clutch. There's the first kill going his way. 15 seconds left. The bomb out in a horrible place, but Markelov is low. And there comes Valda for the clutch frag. And Heroic will take us to 5-5, but my goodness was that close. Back and forth to the very bitter end, and I feel sorry for Will Let It there, caught in pretty much no man's land. Tech-9s to his left, Tech-9s to his right, and he gets mowed down in a crossfire. And our flip side will be on to an eco, so now Heroic have a real chance here at returning the favour. The first half on Train, where Heroic were playing CT side, saw them get 6 rounds, and FlipSid pick up 9. Which put them in a horrible place to start off the map. Maybe they're going to return the favour here. And try and shut FlipSid down before they can even get going. We'll let it. He's not going to be rinsing and repeating from his crazy 4K Deke killing spree on Train, which just turned the tides of that round. And indeed the map heavily in FlipSid's favour. Electronic's got walkies here. Got information for his teammates. The problem is they don't really have anything to work off. It's like, okay, you know they're coming A. Does that really help you, though? I feel like Markelov's probably the player to watch with his Deagle. I can't see Blade getting anything done with his USP. Let's see, Markelov. Your Deagle, is it good enough? It is for 1 kill, but it was such a sloppy kill that he had to reload anyway, and he was very much a dead man. Heroic will take a 6th. FlipSid into a buy, but they've got a few players actually on mid-3000s, so this is far from a great buy. Do I think Mouse can become a top 5 team? It's a really tough question, because I think on paper they do definitely have the players, especially when Oscar was in. I thought, you know, with Oscar and Nico, it's going to be the craziest couple of players together. We'll let it nice pick off. Meanwhile, onto Freeze. That's the AWP dead for Heroic. Snappy can also use this, though. We saw that on Train. But now that Oscar's being benched due to personal reasons, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I think maybe not for the time being. They're too inconsistent for me. So Wolverine also went down. Electronic, meanwhile, with the FAMAS actually pushing through the smoke. You see Muddy had no idea what was coming at him. Not expecting that at all. And now Snappy picked up the AWP from the corpse of Freeze. Is doing serious damage with it. Second frag for him. Pop flashing his way over. We'll probably look for the repeat in a couple of seconds. But it's actually Val that's going to be doing the work instead. Markelov trying to wait a little while longer for his teammate of Electronic to push in. But it's going to cost him his life. And now Electronic surely just taps out of this round and says, okay, fair enough. You got the best of us. Let me just try and save this AK. And save he shall. Running away. Don't lie. We all know our sports is an Nico hell. Well, it kind of is now, yeah, because Oscar didn't perform at Gfinity. He's now on the bench. Now Nico has to reclaim that ridiculous carry spot. But, I mean, on paper, when Oscar was first announced, I was like, hell yeah, that looks great. I saw Oscar, like, because obviously I've casted Hellraisers a lot in the past. I saw Oscar carry that team like Nico carried Mouse Sports. And I thought, okay, you put the two together and this has a recipe for something very tasty indeed. Problem is, and this happens a lot, you know. You often see a team with crazy individual players. I mean, just think of the French scene here when I mention this. Teams with a lot of crazy individual players don't necessarily make for great teams. In terms of chemistry, in terms of a lot of different factors, like strategic play. And I think we've seen that again with Oscar and Nico now. Maybe Oscar does have some serious health or personal issues. I don't know what the reason was that was given. Pretty much an eco here for FlipSid, so I'm not expecting a great deal out of this. Everyone I switch to just gets wrecked, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure what the reasons were for Oscar being benched other than just personal reasons, but clearly it hasn't really been paying off anyway. But without Oscar, I can't see them being a top 5 team for quite some time. Well, Nex is a very capable player. I don't think there's any doubting that. But obviously, how will he fit back into the team? Is there a bit of bad blood there? I actually have no idea. It's all speculation. But of course, I think it's important to maybe to highlight some of these factors. How much has he been playing with the team? I have absolutely no idea. So there definitely are some question marks coming into this match tonight between Mouse Sports and Virtus Pro. Obviously, VP have been playing very well lately on LANs. Online, not so much. Plus, they just made the trip back from New York to Poland, I assume. And I'm assuming they're back in Poland now. So, clearly not necessarily in perfect frame of mind. But, that being said, back into the here and now. A couple of frags have been traded out. And Glaive and Muddy both pretty low alongside Blade. That smoke is going to allow Markelov to push his way up to barrels. I assume that Heroic would have called this, though. I'm surprised we didn't see maybe a molly fly up there. I mean, there is smoke down. Maybe worried it would extinguish instantly. Muddy throwing out the smoke so he can afford to focus his attention on the left-hand side of the box without getting picked off from heaven. Makes a lot of sense. But more importantly, by putting that smoke down, even though he's been killed now, it keeps a lot of the CT emphasis on the B side because they're not sure if there's more players here or not. Now they're about to find out that Snappy is on A and he's throwing up the smoke, and suddenly the tactic has become compromised. The problem is, though, for Heroic that I like the idea, but look how far the bomb was behind Snappy. They are going to get the plant down. They're going to get away with this, but if that AWP shot landed from World Edit onto, I believe that was Snappy who pushed in first, then this could have been a very different occurrence. FlipSid are going to back away. They've got 16k worth of equipment value at their disposal. They do not want to lose. And want to give themselves a fighting chance in the last round of the half. So it looks like Heroic very well may return the favour onto a 6-9 scoreline at half time. Terrorists win. Didn't seem like there is bad blood. I think Nex will try to do his best to make himself attractive for other teams. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty famous term in football anyway. If you if you're about to like leave a club, or the club's going to get relegated, for example, then it's like this phrase is you put yourself in the shop window. Like Moussa Sissoko did this with Newcastle when he played great for France, right? Sorry to get off on topic about football, but the idea is like, yeah, I want to move clubs, I want to move teams, whatever. This is how good I can be. Pick me up. So I kind of see where you're coming from. So last round is up. The reason why FlipSid saving all those weapons so they could get a really solid buy into this one. And indeed they have, but can they convert it into the round? Because Heroic so far on this half looked incredibly dominant, especially these last 5 rounds. You know, they've got 9 rounds, but it's important to mention the first 3 went to FlipSid after they won the pistol. So this could have been a very brutal half had Heroic have taken down the pistol themselves. But also, it was a save in a 3-on-3. Maybe shows a bit of the confidence, not quite there for FlipSid. I mean, honestly, 2 of their players, though, were low, and they had an AWP, so it's not the greatest arsenal of weaponry to retake a site with, especially when low. That's all in the past. The here and now sees Heroic executing through long with 40 seconds left. And this is going to be rough, because looking at the crossfire that's been set up by FlipSid, they actually have a really good doubles crossfire. They've got Waylander and We'll Let It both here. We'll Let It, for the time being, is actually looking at mids into bathrooms, but he can easily wrap around. 25 seconds left. Heroic have got to go into A. This is a real slow execute. They're actually starting to go back onto the B side. This is going to end in tragedy. Still 15 seconds. What are you doing, boys? You've got to get a skate on here. Just push. You can't even stop. You can't even check all the angles. And surely FlipSid will be firm favourites to hold this off right now. Markelov, Electronic, cleaning house. What the hell was that strat? Did Heroic just not realise how much time was left? That is brutal to watch. I mean, Heroic still will end the half in a very commanding position. That last round of Counter-Strike, very poor. The counter-smokes were on point for FlipSid up on long, but Heroic trying to rotate with 15 seconds left, boys. Come on now. What is that? Some people triggered in chat. Heroic time management. Triggered. Yeah, I mean, if I was a Heroic fan and I was like, you know, really here cheering the moment, I'd be scratching my head right now. Like, what the hell was that, boys? I'm all down for the rotations, but at least give yourself 30 odd seconds to play with, because otherwise you have to just push right through. You can't effectively execute, you can't use grenades, you can't check each corner. And as we saw, they just ran out into, I think it was Electronic and Markelov on B site, who just had this perfect crossfire down on a short. And the problem is, because they have no time, they can't afford to walk either. They run from a mile away, so all FlipSid heard was like a stampede of elephants heading their way. It was pretty easy to pre-fire, honestly. And with 15 seconds left, there's no reason not to pre-fire then. So 96, what do we reckon, boys? Do we think Heroic take it from here? Give me some predictions. Give me some score predictions. We're at 9-6, so I mean, you've only got half to predict what you think's going to happen. I'm going to go Heroic will win this, and I think it'll be 16-13. I think FlipSid will have a decent tee-half, but I think the 3-round lead is going to be too much at half-time. I'm calling overtime. Dizzy. Damn. Okay. You reckon this has overtime written all over it? We'll see. We shall see. I seem to be a bit of an overtime magnet, though, especially when I'm solo casting. I think so far in Pro League, the dates that I've done, I've had 3 or 4 overtimes. It's been pretty nuts. In one night, I think I had 4 maps and 3 of them went to overtime. So, if I'm casting, there's every chance it will go to overtime. But here we go. Flip side, clearly, it goes without saying, this pistol very much more important for them than Heroic. Heroic can still have a nice buffer of rounds to play back with, and we've seen so many anti-ecos failing today. I don't think anything is guaranteed at this point. Yeah, it's warm up, boys. Don't worry. We're now live, though. Into the second pistol rounds. We'll see Valda with a smoke and a kit. Everyone else with USP Kevlars. Flip side, meanwhile, have Blade with the utility. The brain of the team. The brains of the operation. Look at the bomb was dropped. It has just been picked up now, but way back towards the T-spawns. Not wanting to give anything away for free there on Toro. They did originally go for a very fast player. I don't know if you caught it, but they actually put a player up on mid, peering down on the fountain. Yielded nothing in return, but a bit of information gathered early on. Problem is, though, any early information is by and large useless, especially as each second ticks by, because it gives you no indication of what's happening later in the round. Unless they saw the bomb dropped or something absolutely ridiculous like that. Snappy did just see the head of Markelov as he was hopping towards short. So now the call will come in. Money is going to unleash as Glaive lands the first headshot. There's Money with his USP. He's got horribly wrong. Snappy with 2 kills. And Wallet's going to come back with 2 of his own, looking for a third. What is happening? Well did it. With 3 kills and almost 3 bullets. But he's so low on health. 20 HP to play with. And I was darting his way back onto the A site. Honestly, a bomb plant here is pretty phenomenal, but he will get it. I thought Glaive may come up and shut him down. And now, let's definitely keep things in focus. Wilderness is certainly the underdog to take this round, but it goes from being completely stacked against him to now doable, especially if he lands this next frag. Oh, he's missed out. Glaive, intelligent play, waiting around the back, and Valdo will put the final bullet in. But FlipSid do get a bomb plant and 3 kills. So God Edit showing himself once again. Do you think Na'Vi is number 1? It seems like with the addition of Simple and with Flamey as a new IGL that they are a force to be reckoned with. Dishonorable Jedi, I definitely think that they are a team that if you give them a little while longer, they definitely could be. There's a lot of big personalities in that team though, so I don't know how it'll work long term. Eco, of course, so complete batter of a round. The bomb was planted, so FlipSid don't want to invest anything into this other than just P250s. Understandable. This will allow them to have AKs into the next round, so pretty much a complete throwaway. However, that will give Heroic a 5-round lead, and at that point, FlipSid are running out of lifelines here on Overpass. But it's an interesting question. I think that Na'Vi are definitely up there right now, and Simple performing the way he did at New York. Flamey dropped just shy of a 40 bomb. I think he got, what was it, 39 kills on train or something absolutely nuts. I definitely think they're a strong contender for the next, dominant team. We shall just have to see, though. Castar, Metis, how you doing, bro? I actually used to be a command here when people said Castar, it popped up with Twitter and stuff. I don't know why that changed, but there you go. We beat Sao Paulo for the LAN. Don't think so, I wasn't asked. RIP! But I'm pretty sure Brazilian heat would kill me anyway, so it might not be such a bad thing. But instead of actually going for AKs, which a lot of teams will do in this kind of lack of utility round, they went for an AWP instead. So, I mean, it's interesting for FlipSid. Again, it's World Edit, so he always wants that AWP as many times as he possibly can get his hands on, but I feel like it definitely did hamper them somewhat. Now, Waylander has the AWP in his hands instead. A couple of AKs have been picked up for FlipSid. And very much a centralized push now from the terrorists. Heroic have a decent setup, 2-2 formation. Both of their CTs are on long, although Freeze has now decided better of that and will be pushing back to dumpster, I assume that is. Indeed it will be. So this gives them a really good vantage point overall. Frag will go the way of Glaive, which now spreads the pack even thinner, leaving Waylander and Markelov. And they'll be coming up short. That's probably going to be into the crosshairs of Freeze, who's still holding this angle. Interestingly enough, FlipSid have actually split up. They're sending Markelov up on long to try and contend with Glaive, who's holding the cheeky spot in the alcove. We go for the pop flash and have a look for information. Looks like his life taken away from him. That's a key frag, actually. That does give now the Terrorists a bit of hope. There's not much of it, because time is scarce, plus the fact they're a player behind, but now Freeze on the side by himself, and Waylander! Was that a no-scope? I didn't quite see from his perspective, but what the actual hell was that? And now Markelov caught in two. Mines goes for the spray, lands the shot, and the Heroic, who are in such a good position now, are all banking on Snappy clutching this. Now it's important to mention that both players are very low on health. Both just over 20. There's the pop flash. Oh, through the wall. And he's going to get the clutch as he is with a jump shot. And Snappy actually checking it afterwards. Wasn't entirely sure if he bagged himself the frag. But of course he had. And he will get the clutch without the kit. Picks up the AWP. And FlipSid will be very, very gutted as a result of losing that round after coming back with a crazy take onto the site. But that spray makes a lot of sense. I feel like players on this team as well would have said they're both low. You know, you're not going to know exactly how low they are, but the feeling would have been there that both players were tagged up. So why not go for the opportunistic spray through the wall? Just a smart clutch, all things considered. FlipSid now. Want to just pistols. Hello, Waylander. Down he goes. Markelov and Electronic. All that remain. Now Markelov, your last remaining terrorist. Not for too much longer. Gets domes. And Heroic are now picking up pace, heading towards the finish line. This will be one of the last solid buys that we see for FlipSid, of course, if they do keep losing. We'll have another solid AK round in the 7th round of this half at least, but it's already starting to get out of control. Hopefully we'll let it. What's his spawn like? He actually does have the best spawn to peek into mid, so he's probably going to go for this one. Is he going to spot any counter-terrorist? Yes, he will see Freeze and converts that. So nice passage of play. Will Edit and FlipSid have got themselves the first kill on the board. But will that make a difference? Because Heroic are now trying to aggressively retaliate. You can see Snappy and Moddy taking control of outside of water. Electronic with that flashbang and a double frag. Beautiful entry work through water. B's been taken, and this round has been as one-sided as you could hope for FlipSid. And now Glaive has a lot of work ahead of him. They will have enough money to buy. It's surprising me that Glaive's even going for this at this point. You may feel like with it being 5 players left alive and so much time that this is a foregone conclusion, that there's no way he's clutching this, but the point is that if he saves the M4, everyone on his team will have a solid buy in the next round. He is just doing the work. At this point, I expect him to back away. He's carved a bit of a path for himself to saving this weapon with the 2 frags on B, so yeah, he's going to back away. This is the intelligent play. The thing is, though, that Blade knows it, and I think he's going to try to hunt him down. What's the economy looking like for FlipSid? I mean, FlipSid can't afford to lose a bunch more weapons here. I think Glaive is going to pull off the Great Escape. I think he's okay here. I don't expect to see FlipSid all charging through. It surprises me he's pushing out like this, though. I don't understand that play at the end. I mean, he had a pretty solid position. He could have hidden T-spawn, he could have hidden connector, and he was golden. And now we're going to see the punishment of that. He can still get a FAMAS, but he could have had an M4. He could have had an incendiary. He could have had a kit instead. Still decent, but it could have been better. And especially considering that now no one on his team has a defuse kit. So, double ops in play, one for each team. Well, that's a bit confusing. My bad, I'll take that back. There's 2 ops in play. When I say double op, you assume that both teams have double ops. I'll slap myself on the wrist for you. There you go. Sound like I was fapping. Trust me, I'm not. Not now, anyway. So, 3 players on B. For the time being for the Danes. And FlipSid, not really making a move towards here. I mean, just Electronic really watching outside of Monster to make sure none of the CTs try and look for aggression. And then get too cheeky on the side. There's Valdo with the first kill onto Long. Leave it to some of the pressure, but well, that is going to apply it once more. And again, he gets the better of Freeze. It's not the first time we've seen this in this series of just, honestly, World Edit out-AWPing Freeze. Freeze hasn't had a huge impact. You can see him there. He's actually bottom fragging for his team. 7 and 12. Snappy with a spray onto Electronic, who's trying to fake out this B play. But in the meanwhile, the mass spray from range. Glaive's going to get one. Has to pull out his sidearm. Runs out of bullets. And again, that's where the A4 could have came out better. For the extra bullets. But it is going to be the plan anyway. 2-on-2 retake in effect for the counter-terrorists. Waylander and World Edits. I think it's World Edits on 19. They don't have a HE to throw into bathroom, so he should be okay. They don't have a smoke either. They're going in for this one raw, so definitely favour the terrorists to pull this one off. Hyper-aggression could be the way back into this, though. Now the bomb is going to be starting to get tickled on. Here comes Waylander, though, with the first frag. Looking for the second one, but he can't get it done. Do they have a kit on the site? No, they don't. So Snappy is going to back away. And I don't want to be like a broken record, right? And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. But that round where Glaive goes looking and dies, if he'd survived, you had a kit and you had an M4, that could have changed the whole dynamic of that round in favour of Heroic. Instead, they're onto an eco. And this is FlipSid's golden ticket back into this map. So, are they going to pull the trigger, though, is the question. The Snappy, who has the power play of the AK, so I'm going to stay on board with him. Because for me, he's the only way the CTs win this round. So I want to see how he's going to move into this site. Going to be heavy B influence. And so far, nothing really been spotted or gained for either team. Just feeling each other out, probing around the map. Yes, for those of you asking in chat, FlipSid did win the first map 16-7, so Heroic are trying to make amends for that very poor performance, that has to be said. I mean, take nothing away from FlipSid, they played a solid game of Counter-Strike, but Heroic really didn't show up, barring, I believe it was Glaive, who put in 20-odd kills. Everyone else, though, was eerily quiet for the Danes. Freeze definitely did just catch a glimpse of Markelov, who's a player pushing his location, so back he goes. Two-man death squad will actually pick him off on the retreat. I'm not entirely sure why Freeze would be walking there. Like, I feel as if he must have known he got spotted anyway. He doesn't know USP, just charged back to the site. Doesn't really matter a great deal, though, of course. This round is very much a formality. Oh, Markelov! Kind of wish I'd seen that from his perspective now. I assume he just looked up and preemptively assumed as soon as that smoke went down, the boost would come in. Nice headshot. Well, that is going to get one kill from behind. Doesn't have a Kevlar on him, so aim points are an issue, but Electronic walks into the hail of gunfire, loses his head for his troubles. And FlipSid bring it back one round closer. Heroic will have a buy, but it's going to be at the cost of an AWP. The Glaive cannot afford one, just shy of a glass cannon, even if he wanted it. And so instead, it's going to be full grenades. Again, though, no kits, and we saw how much that hurt them in their last rifle round. So, Snappy top fragging on both teams, 24-12. Flashbang's perfect. Electronic caught with his pants down around his ankles, and he being the only B-focused player on this map so far. I mean, typically when they've tried to run the fake. It's been Electronic that's gone out by himself, so I feel that frag's actually given some serious information across to Heroic. And couple up the flashbang that Valde just received up on short. Definitely the call will come across. They're going to keep 2 players on B, of course, as the rotation can easily come in. Heroic is starting to be a bit scarce on grenades, though, which could definitely be a recurring theme as we progress through into the latter stages of this half. If it continues this way, Heroic, in the meanwhile, are trying to hope that Glaive can hold this down by himself, but finally he will fall down, leaving Snappy and Modi trying to stop this push. There's Snappy's first, but his last kill on the site. And now Modi comes in. There's one frag. He knows where the bomb is. Well, let's go for the peek. It's going to be the spray down. Modi can't get the frag, but finally finishes it off. We'll get the defuse, pick up the up 2, and a bit of extra utility. And Heroic now move to 14-9 in the lead. Solid work. Very close, though. Well, then it must have been just a matter of millimeters away from landing that shot with the York. How long have I been casting CSGO for? Since beta. Playing and casting since beta. Which teams will make it to the LAN finals in your opinion, Metis? Tenix, it's the top 6, right? That I believe it's the top 6 that qualify. That's my understanding anyway. Do correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. Solid shot from World Edit. Valde going aggro. And honestly, that's going to favour the terrorists. I mean, looking at how much time there is left in the timer. Also, they had a pistol coming into this round, so now they can actually trade that out for an assault rifle that's on the ground, either a FAMAS or the AK. I can see what Valde was thinking of, but Freeze lands the shot into World Edit. That didn't even look on to me with my old senile eyes. Maybe that's just me. I need to go expect savers. I was going to say, originally, going for that trade, the 1-1, probably isn't the greatest of starts for the CTs, but they've managed to somewhat grab onto this. So which team is not how many? I'm aware of that, bro, but I'm not going to say like 3 teams if 6 qualify, mate. I'll need to look at the league again. As for this round, though, FlipSid, after a pretty solid start to the round, are now struggling a little bit to just tread water. Markelov has no utility, and time itself is starting to work against the FlipSid crew, and it's going to be a force onto the A side. Markelov dies, leaving Electronic on long. He's the player with utility in the bomb, so it could be worse, but I'm trying very much to look at the silver linings over a very dark cloud that's looming overhead. 10 seconds. Electronic has to get a move on. There's no point playing this one slowly, mate. 7 seconds left and he dies. And now FlipSid have to save the next 6 rounds. I'd say NIP are definitely firm favourites to qualify. That's for sure. I think Envious have put themselves in a solid position. G2 are up there as well. Oh boy, FlipSid only have 1 AK to work off in this round, and it's on a glass cannoned up Waylander. Why wouldn't they just trade out the AK onto one of the players with Kevlar? I don't understand this decision at all. And then Waylander plays passively. Like, what is this strat here, FlipSid? Have you just given up? Oh, the bomb is down. I don't think the CTs have actually caught a glimpse of that, though, because Heroic only had Valde that's got close. And he did get a kill, but it was more the connector side. In the meanwhile, Markelov, now the last remaining terrorist player with the P250. He's going to pick up 1 kill. Oh, nice 1 tap. Was onto a low of Valde, but he actually landed the headshot, so decent work there. Didn't pick up the weapon, as I'm assuming he was a bit worried in case there's a CT watching from the long side. AK on his friend's corpse anyway, shall be salvaged. bomb picked up too. Look at this firing squad that Heroic have. Glaive and Moddy. As soon as Marklov comes across, he's probably going to be a dead man, but they actually look away. It's going to get Glaive killed, but Heroic have held on for the second map, and it will go 1-1 overall between them and FlipSid. So that's going to be it for game number 1, guys. We have VP and Mouse Sports coming up after this one in a little while. So let's have a look at the scoreboard in the league. My apologies. So right now we have FaZe are top. NIP are also joint top with them on 39 points. VP are in third. Dignitas fourth. Astralis fifth. Na'Vi sixth. Mouseport 7th. 3 points behind Na'Vi. Fnatic are also joint 7th with 30 points. G2 are joint 7th place with 30 points. So I feel like any one of those top 9 teams could potentially qualify. But the way G2 have been playing lately, I wouldn't necessarily count them in. And Mousesport's going through a transitional phase now, with Oscar coming out and Next going back in. I'm not so sure. So obviously it goes without saying that this next series between Virtus Pro and Mousesports is very important for who qualifies. VP are pretty much already qualified, I think, unless they have a shocker of the next couple of weeks. But yeah, Mousesports, if they want to get themselves into this top 6, they're pretty much going to have to win both maps tonight against VP. We shall have to see. Who's the commentator? Let me send you a message. Hey, bro. There you go.